now. Ladies and gentlemen, Counter-Strike Global Offensive's yearly buying and of course selling schedule. And what I mean by that is there's actual months throughout the year that are not set, but that usually occur every single year. If you look at the past 2 or 3 years of data that we have that have specific good times to sell and of course good times to buy. Some of those are in the summer, some of those are in the winter, and some of those are in the off seasons of CSGO, and there's not a whole lot going on. And in today's video, we'll be talking about when an item hits a peak, how to know if it's going to hit a peak, how to know if an item is going to go up in value before it really starts to blow up, and of course the good times to sell and the good times to buy, and of course when not to buy, because I believe that's a very important sign when investing in a Counter-Strike. But before we do that, here's a quick word from our sponsor, SkinsMonkey. Now, today's video sponsor is, of course, SkinsMonkey. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with what SkinsMonkey is, they are currently the biggest growing Counter-Strike Global Offensive trading marketplace for skins, which is absolutely amazing, with great fees as well. Let's just say you guys have some skins you're really not feeling anymore. SkinsMonkey is the best way to trade them. In this trade, to be exact, I actually profited 18 cents, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but considering it's a trading website, it's actually very, very good. Sign up today to get up to a $5 bonus, which is very nice. And if you've never used the website before, well, you can use my code MANDO, go up to the top right, you claim that bonus. And if you guys want to deposit with real life cash or crypto, you get a 25% deposit bonus, which is very, very nice. So let's talk about right now the best times to sell, because I actually believe selling an item is very, very important, sometimes actually more important than buying an item when it's extremely cheap. Because all the time, constantly on Twitter, through Reddit, to my YouTube channel comments, and just other people's YouTube channels, I always see people talking about making really good profits. I woke up today, my portfolio, for an example, is up 400%. The same thing happens in the stock market and crypto. People always seem to forget when to cash out. And usually when I mean to cash out, I don't really mean to your bank account. In CSGO, you really realistically, unless you absolutely need the money, should not be cashing out directly to your bank account, or unless you've made, 400 or 500%. Which right now for a lot of people they might actually have, because the past few months cases and whatnot have gone up exponentially. And of course recently we've seen a whole bunch of profits with these knives and lower tier items, which is kind of crazy to think about considering we never usually get those. So some good examples I have to sell right now are some of the lower tier knives in CSGO. We recently had a spike. If you guys are unfamiliar with this, I had a video on it. It was very popular. It was pretty much based off of a website called Upin, and this was all in China. And of course this is kind of their renting site like Loot Bear over there, and a lot of people bought up a lot of the supply of some of the lower tier knives, and a lot of just random Joe Schmoes kind of bought them to have them on their storefronts. People would rent their skins essentially. You pay a certain money, like $5 to $15 a month, I believe, and you can rent up to like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of skins. Probably not that exact money, probably a little more than that, but you kind of get the gist and you got to get the point here. It's a pretty good idea for people who want to just make money on a passive income sort of basis. So those items really, really went up. You saw things like lower tier karambits, lower tier bayonets, M9 bayonets, even gut knives went up. In the flip knife lore, for an example, this is one of the best examples I had because I actually had one a little while ago. A field tested one from being about $170 to over $220. So that's a pretty nice increase, and that's not something you'd see throughout the year normally. Not to say these knives are really rare, there's just so many other different knives that would go up before these, and of course they're on the lower tier end, and knives are some of the worst investments in CS, especially on the lower tier scale, because compared to cases and most other skins, like operation skins and whatnot that are really rare and expensive, they won't go up. So right now is a pretty good time to sell, in my personal opinion, some lower tier knives if you have some in your inventory to make some profit, if that's the way you want to go. If you're thinking about buying back in the next couple years into a knife into CS, I think those might actually go up a little bit, but it's pretty hard to say. And I have a knife investment video coming out probably in the next month, and also talking about knife investments and the realistic part of it. In some of these cases right now, right, we look at the crutch cases, and what I call by these are things like the breakout case, the Hydra case, the glove case, the cases that will always go up no matter what the market is looking like, right? The clutch case is not one of those right now. Some people might say that, and I even talked about it recently. Once this gets removed, it will be a crutch case where people are going to invest into this, and it's going to go up no matter what because it has really rare items in it like those gloves. Even things like the gamma cases are becoming those, because gamma cases are extremely rare now. You can only get those knives from those specific cases, and they're really, really desired right now. Some of those are very, very expensive and higher tier. Things like the Chroma 2 and Chroma 3 have gone up exponentially in the past year. Chroma 2s were sitting about 20 to 30 cents a little while ago. Now they're almost pushing 80 cents. In the next 6 months, I could see these pushing $1 if we get some sort of large hype once again, or after we get this summer hype done. And if you guys don't know what summer hype is, essentially, it's been a thing for the past couple years in CSGO where items seem to be pushed up a lot. It happened, I would say the biggest way of happening back in Operation Broken Fang. We had Armor and we had Broken Fang. We had a lot of people with a lot of money playing the game at one point in time. People were really excited. People saw the years prior worth of investments. They're like, I'm gonna give this a shot. And then it happened again. And it's most likely going to happen again this year as well. We have a lot of people, a lot of money. A lot of people saw what happened with Stockholm, how that was a success. Not saying we're getting an operation, but we're having a major, and that's a pretty big event for us in CSGO. And I think people are going to go absolutely insane with this. And I think this point is going to be a really good time to buy into the market for some people anyway, if you're going in for the short term. So long story short with selling, you're going to want to make sure you sell when there's a significant amount of profit, or if there's something that just doesn't seeming right with the market. If something's going up for whatever reason, maybe it's market manipulation or whatever, I would sell at that point in time, in my personal opinion. Even if you don't know if it's market manipulation. And how you know if it's market manipulation, either an influencer telling you to buy something or sell something at a certain price, which I guess that's kind of what I'm doing right now, but it would have to be a lot more specific. But even then, most likely won't have a huge influence. And selling has been really good for this thing called Chinese New Year, which is in February. And we saw earlier with this year, not as much as we did back in 2021, but it was still there. Things went up about a month prior. And this is what I've seen to happen. The past year or so, everything that happened years prior is happening a month or two early. Chinese New Year hype we saw in January and late December. And of course, the summer hype we saw right now and a couple months ago instead of a month from now, which is kind of interesting to think about as well. And the best times to buy, which is a very big thing and a lot of questions people have as of right now, because I know a lot of people are asking me, when is the best time to buy in? Because I want to buy in right now, and I always consider this a really bad idea because items are extremely high right now, especially things like the Broken Fang case, which I have a video coming out this week on why it's so expensive, alongside the RIPTIDE case and Dreams and Nightmares case, and of course, Snakebite case. There's a reason these are all up, and especially the active duty drop pool cases, they have a big thing to play with the cases that are still in the game that have some expensive skins in them. That's the reason they're going up. And usually the Steam summer sale week or 2 weeks that it's on is usually some of the best times to buy into the market, especially if you're wanting to use Steam money. And throughout the year, if you're wanting to buy, looking on third-party websites like Skinport, CS Deals, Buff, you can find some pretty good deals throughout the year. If you're looking at the right place, the right time, you can find some very, very good higher tier skins or some higher tier knives, or even some cases on these third-party websites for a significant price decrease, because people are either just panic selling, they want to get rid of them, and they just need to get the money and get out of CS. That happens quite a bit, a lot more than people think. Of course, those items get a lot easily sniped now for those people that snipe them to make a lot of profit. That's just something people can do. And then usually around Christmas time as well, skins are usually at an all-time low or extremely low. The summer and then leading into the fall, the later months of the year are always usually the best to invest in because they're usually the cheapest prices. And well, how do you know if something is a very cheap price, especially if it's new? Can't really decide that. If it's extremely rare, you got to be very careful with that, because I always talk about how something, just because it's rare, doesn't mean and make it very expensive. I always took the Vertigo collection from CSGO's recent major and of course recent event, Operation RIPTIDE, for a really, really good example. These skins are extremely rare, but no one really wants them. Just because they're rare does not mean they're going to be really expensive. And we kind of saw that. These prices really haven't gone up too much recently. But certain things like the Operation Broken Fang case, there's a lot more to it than the price outside of it. The reason this thing has recently gone up so much was pretty much the M4A1 sprint stream. This case was going to go up either way. It was at 30 cents, but it was pretty much a dead investment, dead in the water. You already had a case, the Snakebite case at the time, that was 3 to 5 cents in the market, that had the exact same gloves in it. That was realistically the only really big thing a lot of people were going for at the time. But since the M4A1S buff, everyone was going to try and open this case, and slowly but surely this thing went from 30 cents to 40 cents to 50 cents, boom, to 80 cents, and then recently it shot up back over $1 and stayed over $1 for a long time. And that's caused obviously the Snakebite case to go up a lot because people are just trying to get those gloves. So it's pretty much just supply and demand. So when there is an M4A4 buff, this case will slowly go down, probably a lot faster than it went up. And of course, when not to buy, and that is right now. I don't suggest at all to buy into the market realistically right now. The video as I've been making the past couple weeks and couple months realistically ever since these items went up is mostly for the people who still hold these items and plan to in the future, and mostly for just maybe some sort of history lesson. A lot of these cases right now are extremely inflated, like the Clutch case, and of course the Dreams and Nightmares case, one of the best examples I can use, is still $1.30. It's been in the active duty drop pool for almost 2 months at this point in time. We've realistically almost never seen this happen before, besides a few cases, and I'm going to exclude operation cases because those don't really count since they're not really active duty drop pool for more than a couple months. And then of course you have the major coming up here really soon, which I think could be a really good opportunity for a lot of people to buy more Stockholm items. Depending on how these next stickers look, it's going to be really weird on how people are going to invest in this next major. I think people either way are going to go all in with it, which is great. I'm going to use that opportunity to buy up some Stockholm capsules and some Stockholm stickers if they don't look extremely similar, because I think they're going to be really rare going forward into the future. I think this is kind of a one-time only sticker event, but that's just myself, as well as M4A4s. I've been collecting a lot of these throughout the past year or so, and I'm trying to collect more and more as we go along here, because I think as soon as this thing gets buffed, I think it's going to go up in value. And with it going up in value, I think some of the cases that a lot of these weapons are in, including the Prisma case and whatnot, are going to go up. So I have been debating looking into the Prisma case recently as an investment. Haven't gone through with it yet 100% because it is the Prisma case, and I think a lot of people know how I feel about it. Not that great because it's not that the most desired right now. And of course, do not invest in an active duty drop pool case. This is something I've seen recently of people doing, buying into these cases when they're extremely high, like the Dreams and Nightmares, the RIPTIDE cases, even though it's not active duty, but it's destined to go down. These are really fluctuable in price, and I just don't really suggest doing that because as soon as something gets buffed or nerfed or these cases go down, all of them are going to follow suit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Link down in the description below. Have a good day, guys. Stay positive, stay sexy. Any comments, leave them down below. Peace out.